Si se puede. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, Obama thought Democrats had the market cornered on Hispanic voters.
Sí se puede. Muchas gracias.
Liberals think so little of Latinos that they think they can win their vote by blatant Hispandering.
It's great to be back with all of you. Dios te bendiga.
I have one thing to say. Hang on here.
All right. There you go.
My sister-in-law, she is Latino, and her family, I love hanging out with them and practicing my Espanol.
Sí se puede!
The diversity of this community as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio is your strength.
Both parties have gotten a lot wrong over the years about this country's very diverse Latino community. Now remember the old 2016 consensus about what the GOP had to do to attract Hispanic voters?
Nobody in the Republican Party knows what Donald Trump's immigration policy is, other than that it's hardline, which turns off Hispanic voters.
Hispanics have been trending Republican for years. What has turned them around has been this hardline immigration.
Even having this conversation sends a powerful signal. They're doing high fives in the Clinton campaign right now when they hear this.
He was talking about building the wall, and Jeb was wrong. Well, we all know all of this was false. And although Biden won the Hispanic vote by 21 points, 59 to 38, that was down significantly from Hillary's 38-point advantage. Meanwhile, Trump surged broadly among Hispanics, gaining about 10 points from 2016 to 2020. And all along, what Republicans needed was a GOP that would fight for the working people, be tough on crime, end unnecessary and frankly stupid wars, and stand up for conservative values. And if you didn't know just how important Hispanic Americans are in our life and our politics, well, just consider this. In 2022, nearly 35 million Latinos will be eligible to vote, or 14% of the nation's eligible voters. In recent elections in Arizona, they represent 1 in 4 of all voters. In Nevada, 1 in 5. In Florida, 1 in 5. And here in Texas, 3 in 10. Although Hispanics still prefer the Democrat Party, let's face it, by about a 2-to-1 margin, that margin has been slowly and steadily shrinking. And now Democrat consultants, well, they're finally worried. Pew Research is reporting that 77% of Latino registered voters are dissatisfied with the way things are going in the country. 54% disapprove of Biden's job performance. 80% say the economy is a very important issue for them. And the other top issues include health care at 71% and violent crime and education, both at 70%. So no wonder Hispanics in Florida, a very large Cuban-American community there, are flocking to support the re-election of Governor Ron DeSantis. He has a 7-point advantage among the Latino group over Charlie Crist, and more Hispanics supported his Martha's Vineyard migrant flights than opposed his Martha's Vineyard migrant flights. So we're seeing the same dynamic, by the way, play out here in Texas, with Republicans gaining among Hispanics in key parts of the state. Just take a look at these border counties and their rightward lean between 2016 and 2020. And in Arizona, Republican Senate candidate Blake Masters is making a huge push for Hispanic voters.
Masters is forging into Democratic territory by opening field offices in predominantly Latino neighborhoods.
People are sick of this, right? You make energy expensive, you make everything expensive.
Masters' economic and social message resonates.
New poll shows him tied with incumbent Mark Kelly, who a few months ago Democrats thought was just a lock for re-election to the Senate. And in Nevada, Democrats are fearing that Senator Cortez Masto will lose to Adam Laxalt, as nearly every poll shows her behind and continuing to lose Latino support. Wow. Now, all this makes perfect sense. You see, Hispanics don't like getting lied to any more than any other demographic group. And Democrats have been lying a lot nonstop, frankly. During Trump, they lied about Russia collusion. Then they lied about how school shutdowns were really necessary. Then they lied about inflation. They just have a problem telling the truth, and all of it affects the Hispanic community as much as any other, perhaps even more so, community in the United States. They lied about how soft on crime policies like bail reform would lead to better results. Instead, of course, it's led to a surge in crime that hurts Hispanic communities. They lied about how the border was under control, didn't you love that? Which has led to, of course, Hispanic deaths from fentanyl and overcrowded classrooms, difficult for parents and kids to deal with. They lied about needing to shut down businesses during COVID, doing enormous damage to our growing class of Hispanic entrepreneurs. And they lied about who's to blame for these ridiculously high energy prices, blaming poor gas station owners. That was nice, Joe Biden. Democrats are so desperate to hold on to power that they'll even lie to conceal the true medical condition of their own candidates, Joe Biden and John Fetterman. Now, after last night's sad performance by Fetterman in the debate with Mehmet Oz, the shameless fanatics at The View are still defending his fitness for office.
It was really strange to me that he chose to bully a stroke victim.
Yeah,
right? Like, he obviously was bullying him. We know that Fetterman's cognitive abilities have not been compromised. It's about expression that has been compromised.
Now it's bullying to ask people questions. That's today's Democrat Party. Why would anyone choose voluntarily today, with their track record and that kind of comment, to be a member of this party? Now, Hispanic Americans, as diverse and multifaceted as they are, they want what we all want. They want a government that works for us, not against us. The fact is, more Hispanics are beginning to see what Reagan Democrats saw in 1980, that the country that they love is better led by conservatives than by a party that deceives and disrespects them day in and day out. So on election night in 2020, when so many Republicans were in distress, of course, about the results that were happening, I saw a positive trend. When we look at Florida, the coalition that the Republicans have been able to put together in that state is really something that they should try to replicate as much as possible going forward up and down the East Coast, with a strong contingent of seniors, Latinos, young professionals, African Americans. Florida is the future for the Republican Party. The Florida model, the Texas model, where Republicans have been working overtime to engage Hispanics on the issues they care most about, but especially along the border. The outreach is working. Look at what happened in Virginia last year. Glenn Youngkin, he made a concerted effort to reach the Hispanic community, including on the school issue, Hispanic language radio ads, television ads. Turns out that Hispanics do not want their kids to focus on gender fluidity in the classroom any more than any other parents do. We're seeing similar efforts all across the country. But we aren't yet finished. We have a lot of work to do. But the old canard that somehow populism and Hispanic outreach don't mix, well, that's been proven wrong. And the vicious lie that populist Republicans don't want to work with Hispanic voters has been totally discredited. Our populist movement was never limited to rural America because it's designed to improve life for all Americans of all ethnic backgrounds in all 50 states. For a long time, the media refused to believe that populist Americans who support the MAGA movement would have anything in common with Hispanic voters. But they were wrong. So I say, vámonos. Y si se puede. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.